Hey guys, Vegas Romaniac, you want to work on your motorcycle in the garage, but it's too hot. Install a swamp cooler. One of my good friends showed me how to do it, and it changed everything. Right now, the swamp is putting 70 degrees from the outside, where is 100 degrees if you look at my garage door. This one still needs to be insulated. And here's the trick. I'm pushing all that cool air that's coming into the garage, I'm pushing it into the attic, so it cools off the attic. And even though the attic is at 96, all that cold air is gonna go in, is gonna cool it off, it's gonna help the AC in the house. I actually very enjoy it, that's why I'm gonna show you how I did it. Way too hot to work in my garage. It's early morning and it's already 90 degrees or 35, 37 in the garage. Way too hot. So I have a swamp cooler. I can't work on my bikes without the swamp cooler, so I have to find a way to cool off this garage. This is the unit that I want to install. I had this one for quite a while. It's a big fan. I have to cut a big hole in the wall to be able to install it. Because the way that my house is uniquely shaped, I don't really have too many options. Obviously in the front of the house I cannot install it. Here on the side I can't, because there's just too many wiring from power to gas and other things. So here is not really an option to install it. Not to mention that I don't have any water on this side. I do have a little neighborhood dog that is really needy. Yeah, really needy. Yeah. Obviously you cannot go on this side. So the only option that I have, it has to be close to the water, because you're gonna need a water line to feed the swamp cooler. And this is where the water is in my house. So I have the water over there. So what I'm thinking is installing the swamp cooler on this wall. If I install it on that wall, basically it will come out in the garage based on my measurements around somewhere over here. Because I am working on my motorcycle over here, this should work just fine. This is the part of the unit that has to stick through the window. So it's 20 inches, so the hole have to be at least 20 inches wide. By the way, the noise that you hear is from my other swamp cooler. But what are these markings? Stud. They're not properly spaced, it looks like. So there is one over there, empty, another one over here, empty, and another one over here. So I'll have to open up the wall and see exactly what's going on, because based on my measurements, this is where it has to go out and sit on the outside. So I'm going to cut from the inside out. Drywall is a lot easier to patch in case I can't go because there's a pipe or something like that. So I measured where the unit will stay outside. As I said, I want to put it as low as possible. So I have a stud over here. I use a drill bit. To find where the studs end. So there is stud over here, and there is studs over here. So this is the outer edge, and then I'll have to go cut this piece out and see what's inside the wall. That's why I'm starting from the inside, so I don't have any surprises as far as finding a pipe or something. Then I could just patch this piece back on and then go somewhere else. So based on my calculations, this stud is a little bit in the way, so I'll have to cut this stud out, and I'll have to reinforce from here to that stud to hold the roof. So when I cut this stud out, I'll have to cut it that way so I could add a little bit more to it. So I have a cross beam that is going to enforce this stud over here on the outside. I made a little notch over here. I'm going to cut right over here the stud. This notch is exactly the same width as a 2x4 stud that I'm going to put across. Cutting through the outside wall is very easy. It's just a little bit of a concrete with some styrofoam insulation. So that was pretty easy. I'm going to take a measurement from here all the way to that, so I could put that middle piece over here that I'm missing. So I cut the piece to size, I put it in here, and now all I have to do is just drill a couple of screws in here to hold it. After I push it through the wall, the unit I installed from the outside, I made a little frame around, and I also installed this little grill. Let me show you how it looks like outside. And this is how it looks like on the outside of the wall. I've installed it fairly low, so the association shouldn't give me too hard of a hard time with it. The only thing that is still left to do, I have to install a different faucet over here, because this faucet is not swamp compatible. There's a special faucet I have to go and buy. and that faucet I'm going to install here on the floater bowl, so I'll be able to set it on overfill. I have installed a faucet. On top of the faucet I already had, I installed another faucet. I could hook up my hose over here, and then there's a little connector over here for the swamp cooler, which will self-feed through its little nozzle that's on this side. And that's about it. That's all you have to do. It's as simple as it gets. Now that the swamp cooler is installed in the garage, there is one thing that is very, very important for you to understand. I'm going to close the garage door, so I'm going to actually show you from inside the house. If I open the door, this is the problem. So the swamp cooler creates a lot of pressure for the air inside the garage. So all this air has to escape somewhere, because otherwise, if the doors are closed, it has nowhere to escape and it will not cool off the garage. Now, I've seen people cutting a hole in the door or cutting a hole in the wall somewhere to create a draft. But that's a big mistake. The best idea is to take all that cool air that you have in the garage and send it into the attic, because the attic is super hot and you're putting cool air in there, and it helps with the overall cooling of the house. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to add a vent right around here where the TV is, like in this area of the garage, so the air will circulate from there coming this way, cool off the garage, and whatever is extra is not going to create pressure in the garage, it's going to push it inside the ceiling. So that way all that air will go into the attic and will cool off the attic and will keep the entire house cooler. So there's the swamp cooler and there's the big hole that I just cut. When you cut yours, check out to see what kind of a power cables you have where you're cutting, because I just cut through the power cables. Not through, but they're in the way, so now I have to find a way to arrange them. I don't know if they're long enough, but all that stuff is gonna go up there, and I made it a door, so in winter time the heat doesn't escape. I could just close it. So it's as simple as that. And all this nice cool air will go into the attic. So I push the cables away. I'm also gonna, through that hole, I'm gonna blow some insulation on top of the garage, just to keep it a little bit more cool. The swamp cooler is running really, really well. The swamp cooler definitely puts cold air in, 70 degrees. So 70 degrees temperature and the air coming in. The only problem is that I have to insulate this garage door. It's 100. So it's 100, this garage door. This needs to be insulated. You barely even keep your hand on it. The sun is on the outside. But otherwise, I could definitely make this garage a very, very cool, cozy place to work on the motorcycles, that's for sure.